Welcome to exploring the diesels of the island of Sodor in my universe of the 10F. That being in the standard gauge, obviously. Diesel is a BR Class 08 built in 1952. He arrived the same year and Duck taught him, but Diesel got Duck into trouble a few times. And that's why Diesel was sent to work at Vickerstown, which he still does today. Norman. Norman is based off the British Railway Class 03, built in 1961, but he arrived in 1966 after Ronald Watson wanted to streamline operations. He was brought in to shunt at Tidmouth Yards. Daisy is based off the British Railway Class 101, built in 1960 and arrived the same year, but she was a special build with being on a single unit. Boko, my dear engine. Boko is based off the British Railway Class 28, number 5702, built in 1959. He arrived the same year. He had a faulty start, but now he works proudly on the Wellsworth branch line. Derek is number D8501. He is based off the British Railway Class 17, built in 1962. He arrived the same year. He was placed all over the island because his faulty generator kept being fucked up. But after a major overhaul at Crovan's Gate, he joined the Fire and Rescue Service. Francis is number D193, based off the British Railway Class 46. He was built in 1961 and arrived in 1964. He does pull trains into Sodor, but he's a common sight around Vickerstown. He only helps on the main line when it's the most busiest. Mavis is based off the British Railway Class 04, number D2290. She was built in 1957, but she arrived 3 years later in 1960 to help at the Farquhar Quarry. Also, she has a relationship with Toby. Patrick. Patrick is based off the British Railway Class 40. He was built in 1962, but he arrived 10 years later in 1972 to help out with the work on the main line. Fernando is based off the British Railway Class 50. He was built in 1967 and he arrived many years later in 1980 to help pull that train where people bring their cars along. I forgot what name it was. Please tell me in the comments. Larry is based off the Western Hornsby 88DS class. He was built in 1967 and he arrived in 1976 to help shunt at Kildane Ironworks. Salty is based off the British Railway Class 07, number D2991, built in 1962. He arrived a year later in 1963 to help shunt at Brendam Docks. Iris's number is D9555. She is based off the British Railway Class 14 teddy bears. She was built in 1965 and arrived 19 years later in 1984 to help shunt at Knapford Harbour. Desmond. Desmond is based off the British Railway Class 74, number 74006, built in 1968, and he arrived years later in the year 2000. He pulls the Pancras Special, which goes a straight line from Knapford to Pancras, London. Owen is based off the British Railway Class 27. He was built in 1961 as the prototype, and he arrived in the year 2014 to help on the main line. Coming up next time, we have Edge to pull trains into Sodor towards Ulfstead Castle and a few other places on Sodor. And by the way, they're owned by the North Western Railway.